and your people have started a play for a very long time. So since you have come, you came to us. You came to our president. The president is our son. Welcome to you. We have a lot to say that you will do it. Welcome you. You are citizen of Liberia. America and Liberia are one people. This is the ship over there that came here. Our flag here, our flag here. We'll tell you something.
Mati. Tina ya.
Yeah.
Mama ya gbo lo e. Agba ki kwa yin to biaro. So adu ga ni je.
Ambassador of America to Liberia. Here today, the government of Liberia and the American government signed an MOU given to the Liberian government for the development of prominent army today. So we are here bringing light coverage at Providence Island. So folks, today we've been accompanied by the traditional leaders, as well as and Minister of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism, Representative of District Number 8, Mr. Carisbury, Minister of General, as well as all of government officials here currently for this sound ceremony. Just to note, Minister of Information, Mr. Legend will really see here.
And build it a peace tree. So this is the tree you see on the historic Providence Island. This island is 11.22 acres, but because of the erosion, it goes less than that. It should be less than 11.22. But this was where the settler landed in 1822. The ship Elizabeth came with 88 immigrants. It is one of the important ships. There are 3 ships brought the settlers. The Elizabeth, the Mayflowers of Liberian history. We call them Mayflowers of Liberian history because they came with permanent Liberians like Yehudi Almond. They came with Robert Stockton, after whom they named Stockton Creek. They came with Ebenezer Boyer, Samuel Mills and Ebenezer Boyer, among others. So here is the island. And of course, you will see Mr. Ambassador and Mr. Minister, Honorable Gray, Chief Landakawa. You see that this is the island. And of course, to the southeast of the island, across the water, was a U.S. military base, World War II. The last time you came, I didn't tell you there. Normally, before then, you know, we had two important military bases in Liberia here. That was the first one, which is the Ballet Island. And then the second one is the Lake Piso. The Americans used to use the World War II for the landing and taking off of the amphibian aircraft. Now, if you go to Tala as we speak, you will see some of the remains of the aircraft here. Now, here the bridge was built in 1979 as a result of the oil quoted by Liberia in 1979 program. So this is what we see. And of course, when they landed here, they landed peacefully on the Provence Island. Therefore, they named the island Perseverance Island. But the traditional name is those ones, meaning the Degola word, meaning land in the center of river, water. But here, as you can see, when they left Freetown, they were not treated well in Sierra Leone. Because why? Sierra Leone was under British colony. And how would Americans come from America to land on there? So they were denied by the governor of Sierra Leone, Governor Charles McCarthy, because of political reasons. Charles McCarthy denied them. Then, of course, the frustration got them. Some of them died from mosquito malaria, right? And they came all the way down. They passed all the way, they went straight to the executive mansion area, passed on the executive mansion. Then they couldn't find their way in or out. Then they turned around, came right closer to the shore, and they started driving. Then, of course, they came across the river. In America, they used to drive on the water on the river, River View and the rest, so they saw this island. Of course, they landed there peacefully. They were afraid because of what they experienced in Sierra Leone, Freetown. They stayed for some time and then they put their tickets in town. I hope one of these days the Minister for Tourism, the Minister for Information, Culture, Affairs and Tourism will organize a tour to go so I can show you the demonstration. They landed there, here, and of course, he put their hands up. We have reached home, praise God. Then one of them took the dust from the ground. This is the land of liberty. The free land of liberty, we have reached home. This is our land. And of course you will see, this is what it did. And after that they went out. And they dug the first well, the oldest well in the Republic of Liberia. You find it on the island. Let's go.
So, giving some historical facts. Sir, your name? Your name, sir? What's your name?
Ambrose Wabe.
Ambrose Wabe. Ambrose Wabe. Drilling on stew.
What is our land and recycle
as well in Liberia to be located on the island. As today, the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, along with the government of America, that's the United States Embassy, we are today to sign MOU to develop the historical property. This is where we have come here. Just joining is the city mayor of Monrovia, Mayor Jefferson Kochi, as well. The representative of District Number 8, Carlos Gray, Minister of Gender, and Minister of Information, Mr. Major Rennie, here as
I see the Minister of Justice is here, Councillor Musadin.
Those who are Perseverance Island, they and the indigenous, they were educated, but they were not literally educated. They couldn't read and write because we had our traditional bush school system, the Poro and the Sunday. There was some sort of education. They couldn't understand English. The indigenous couldn't understand English. It was one Mandingo man called King Sarboso, who was a trader. 1461, the Portuguese came here, and the Portuguese, the French, they came in Liberia. They settled along the coastal line. But then when the settlers landed here, they and the indigenous, they make peace. It was under this cotton tree that King Sarboso carried them. They and the settlers, the Egyptians and the settlers, they make peace under this cotton tree. The cotton tree you see is gone. It has male and female. The husband died, and the woman committed suicide 2 years ago. Yes, because she was lonely, she was isolated. She died broad day. She committed suicide broad day about 2 years ago. And luckily for us, everybody left the island. They went to do their hustle. And there it is now. And as you can see, Mr. Ambassador, you will realize that Ansori is down. That's the dry one, that's the husband. The fresh one, that's the wife. So that is Liberia is a peaceful country. So let's go to the world.
So that's it. It's really us Jews. This is really much when it comes to body is giving the history of this island. You listen to this site in this country.
Audience were within Liberia to be given here at the site. So for that, let me just show you. This is the audience well within Liberia. This world is this is it.
So according to history, this is the first well settlers when they arrived here in Nigeria.
The water finish, what are we going to do? Let us dig a well. They dug this well since 1890. This well can never go dry. People from from slavery here to get water. It is surrounded by salted water, but it is not salted. It doesn't go dry. It was in the 1900, during 2-3 administration, the government decided to put this around it for the safety of the children because there was a playground. So there it is. And of course, this is one of our institutions. And here was a little Yatazo, Franzo. All the Paka Pika send them to Beleyala. Send them to Beleyala. It was here on this island. One-way ticket to America. Here, it was here from here. They had it. This is the problem. Welcome to Dozwa. Welcome to President Island. Welcome to
So that's it. Now moving to the program. We are at the Swiss. The ambassador along with the city mayor of Monrovia. This is how now we going to the program for today. As from today, the ambassador of America to the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism to sign today a memorandum of understanding for the development of historical Providence Island. So yeah, we currently
I pledge allegiance to the flag of Liberia and to the republic for which it stands, one nation with liberty and justice for all. Also like that. In Liberia we have Mississippi. In Liberia we have Louisiana. In Liberia we have Maryland. In Liberia, you name it. Multiple in Liberia. Virginia.
Thank you.
craft center. You know, Liberia has very promising art and craft, very promising virgin tourism industry. 99.9% of our tourist attractions are natural. You can see here, you write it, this is pygmy hippopotamus. Animal like this, it doesn't grow any habit anywhere beside Liberia and Sierra Leone. I give you the history. President Tottenham, he had an entertainment center in Utah called Cuckoo Nest. He had a lot of this stuff there, and President Haile Selassie and Jomo Kenyatta went to visit him on the island. So they wanted one of these each. He told them no, they cannot be rare anyway. He said, what is Liberia? Is Liberia have extra, atmosphere? He said no. So they felt he wanted to meet them. So he said, well, I promise you, if you carry them, they will not survive for 24 hours. So he packaged them, and they carried them to Liberia's country. Less than 24 hours, all of them died. This is the pygmy hippopotamus.
It's found in Sino, right?
Found in Sino in the Sapo National Park. It was then here at the Zoo in Dakwazi, but because of the war, everything gone. But we still having some.
It's not the actual size.
No, this is not it. This is what it is. This is so. Mr. Ambassador, this is the art and craft area here. Thank you very much. And this is the end of my tour. Like I told you earlier, to the southeastern part of the island, the Bali Island, that was where we had the U.S. military during World War II. That was the U.S. military base. That area, and of course, the Piso. They call it Pienzo. But when the settler came, they called it Piso. Pienzo. It was where the pigeons used to land and drink water. Small water was there. Then all of a sudden, when the local got up, it became broad and became the bigger one. It has an island in the center of it called Masanti Island. I hope one day we'll go there. We'll enjoy surfing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We now going to now on the Jack Johnny is the Minister of Agriculture. Minister of
Yes,
Thank you so much for that beautiful songs. Thank you so much for that. All right. Officials of government here present, members of the diplomatic corps, U.S. ambassador here present, media outlets, civil society organizations, members of the Traditional Council, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Prominent Iceland U.S. Ambassador Fund for Cultural Preservation, April 30, 2021. At this point in time of our program, we will call on the Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, Minister Legend Rainey, who will welcome us at the Balabo Hut.
Let me do some housekeeping here first before we do welcome. Good afternoon to all. Your Excellency Ambassador Michael A. McCarthy, United States Ambassador accredited to Liberia, other members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the Liberian Legislature here present, Your Honorable Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, and other cabinet ministers here present, traditional leaders, our friends from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, civil society, one and all. I'm immensely delighted and grateful to welcome you all to this historic Providence Island for the signing ceremony of a memorandum of understanding between the government of Liberia, represented by NACAT, and the World Monument Funds for the beginning of the restoration work on this historic Providence Island. Today's program is in twofold: the signing of the MOU between NACAT and the World Monuments Fund, and the issuance of a joint statement by the government of the Republic of Liberia, represented by the Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, as well as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the government of the United States of America, represented by the Embassy of the United States in Monrovia, to announce their support of a plan for the preservation and reuse of Providence Island. I continue to emphasize the word historic. Historic because the island has played a multiplicity of roles in the country's history. At one point, it served as a hub of commercial activities between our traditional people and the outside world. It was the place that the freed slaves from the United States landed was received and settled. This historic island also served and continues to be the hub for social cohesion and other recreational activities. During our civil wars, it was also a battle zone. It's also a cradle of Liberia-America friendship, and reflects our unique culture, diversity, and oneness as a people. Our gathering here today is not just to sign an MOU or issue a press statement, but also to celebrate and reflect on the creed upon which our nation was established and Liberia-America friendship and relations were born. This project is in fulfillment of the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Educational and Cultural Affairs, Madam Mary Ross' commitment to the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism during her visit to Liberia in June of 2019. The project will be funded with financial support from the U.S. Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation and the World Monuments Fund. The overarching objective of the project is to conserve the cultural and natural landscape of Provence Island and enhance it as a destination site for historical appreciation and understanding, and as a venue for cultural performances, and as a unique green and eco-friendly space. This conservation effort of the Provence Island is intended to preserve the island's unique cultural landscape and protect its cultural, archaeological, historical, and natural values for the benefit of future generations of Liberians, and enhance the potential of the site for hosting cultural performances and educational and historical tours. This will include upgrading facilities, improving access, and improving infrastructure. The project will also engage surrounding communities of the island in conserving efforts and to serve as a model for cultural and environmental stewardship. Other components of the project include preparation of a plan for sustainable use and management of the site, development of maintenance plan, and carrying out training and capacity building. I'd like to thank Madam Royce and the government of the United States of America for the support in ensuring that this project becomes a reality. Let me also extend special thanks and appreciation to Ambassador Michael A. McCarthy and the team at the U.S. Embassy for the continual partnership. Mr. Ambassador, kindly permit me to give special thanks and recognition to Madam Alison Brenda, Charge d'Affaires at your embassy, who through her relentless efforts, we were able to come this far in achieving this project. Special thanks to Honorable Len Eugene Nagbe, my predecessor, under whose stewardship as Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, this project was initiated. To my team at the Ministry, especially Deputy Minister for Culture and Tourism, Honorable Lens Babylon, and his able and capable and very hard-working to Honorable Princess Tukola, Assistant Minister for Tourism. Thanks to all of you for this hard work. To my many distinguished guests, kindly accept our sincere gratitude for joining us in witnessing our new beginning of a greener, better, and brighter Provence Island. Welcome, and thanks to you all for coming.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. At this point in time, we will turn over to our cultural ambassador, Ambassador Julie Ellie. Julie Ellie, who will do for us a cultural performance.
I want to just leave all the protocol by acknowledging a few persons here before I fall into trouble. So I will not go in no distinct order, but I want to say I acknowledge my boss, the Minister of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism, the Mayor of the City of Monrovia, the Lord Mayor Jefferson Tamakoji, the Minister of Gender And I think you're asking me why I started first, because I want to go to the big people last. And then I want to recognize the acting minister who is practicing on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister Dewey Gray, you're welcome, and the Minister of Justice. Once I call the Minister of Justice, I feel very comfortable. He's not going to do anything to me. Then I move on to our policy maker, especially from District Number 2, and who is Chair on Executive. And I know he's here. I honor you, Honorable Akara Gray. His Excellency Michael McCarthy of the U.S. Embassy permits me to recognize my friend, my sister for many years from the embassy. And she has been very, very, very instrumental in making this work. The Chief Zanzan Kawa, the Chairman of the National Council of Chiefs and Elders, in which I'm the Queen. Then my own Minister from Agriculture, she's here. I want to recognize you. And all the deputy ministers here and everyone that here, but Princess Pamela is the queen for today. So we'll get our big hands. Today, because I don't know whether the ambassador took a tour while we were not around, but I know that today is his first day. So today will not be actually a performance, a full performance. I'm going to use the forum to show you the richness of our culture. And it's going to be very educative. Just like you know, so you know what the different dances and the drums. Put your hands together! Because of time, we are just going to run into the regions. So we want to show you the costume from the Klan-speaking people. But before we start, let me introduce and say, These are the instruments, the traditional instrument in Liberia. We have more, but we are showcasing the samba. The samba tells a story with a call and answer. You have the lead samba, the background, and the bass. This salsa is very unique to Liberia. The growth is from our forest, and the wood from our forest, carved by Liberian artists. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear the drum concert. Thank you. People of Sando County and Green Crew County just heard that a kilo full of fish have just arrived in Greenville and Madridville. So they are celebrating the class breeding group with the female dancers from the crew tribe. We want to bring the crown female dancers, and they are celebrating all the mountains that brought you know what. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the crown female dancer. We are moving straight to Norfolk County. In Norfolk County, we want to bring the female dancers celebrating the birth of a child. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mandingo female dancers. That's why you are saying we don't have male dancers in Liberia. Yes, we do. We are going to bring the people all the way from Nimba County, and they will be depicting the masquerade that you see around called Gullah Bang. Ladies and gentlemen, they're male dancers. We are moving on, and our people from the National Legislature, do you know that Pele is widely spoken in Liberia? If you go to Bon County, Magidi County, Bapolo County, even Grand Bassa near the Kokoya area, Salaye in Lofa County, you just name it. So we want to bring together the Pele dancers coming to celebrate harvest. The 5 Sunday dancers. Why is she just talking and can't do anything? She can't even dance. She saw it in one book. But ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together.
Thank you so much, our Queen Billy. Please put your hands together once more for the Queen. Wow. Right next on our program sheet, we have remarks. We will call on the U.S. Ambassador, Ambassador Michael McCarthy, who will be followed by Steve Baito of the War Monument Fund, and then will also be followed by the Deputy Minister for Legal Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Councillor D. Wade Gray. Mr. Ambassador, you are welcome.
Yes, Ambassador Tor Labib from the United States of America to Judge McCarthy. Yeah,
I'd like to start by thanking the dancers and musicians. Again, that was really something. Please, let's give them another round of applause. Honorable Minister Reddy, Honorable Minister Cooper, all the Honorable Ministers, Chief Kalor, and leaders of the National Traditional Council of Liberia, Cultural Ambassador Andy, Assistant Minister Purkala, World Monuments Fund Representative Stephen Battle, and University of Virginia Professor Allison James. University of Liberia, collaborating scholar and historian, Dr. Bill Allen. University of Liberia Honors College students and faculty, MICAT staff, or MECAT staff, members of communities surrounding Provence Island, U.S. Embassy colleagues, and everyone else who's gathered here today to celebrate and preserve this national treasure, Provence Island. I am thrilled to be standing here today, the very place where almost 200 years ago, the first American settlers landed in what we now call Liberia, and came into first contact with the indigenous tribes who had lived here for hundreds of years as traders and farmers. Provence Island continues to be a meeting place, a place of exchange, a place of nature, a place of multiculturalism. It is truly historic ground. And it is and always will be a powerful symbol of the enduring U.S.-Liberia relationship. As some of you know, in 2019, former MICAT Minister Eugene Nagbe sought support from the United States Department, Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs to help preserve the cultural heritage of this island and to consider tourism possibilities. This request turned into a grant to the World Monuments Fund, a global leader in cultural heritage preservation, to conduct a site study that would explore options for conserving the historical significance and natural beauty of the island. Consulting with wide-ranging stakeholders in the island's future, including the communities near the island, traditional chiefs and elders, youth, government leaders, women's groups, environmental experts, scholars, and historians. The World Monuments Fund will produce, by the end of 2021, a consensus plan with recommendation for the island's preservation, but also for its reuse. We will then seek to raise funds to implement those recommendations. We have just had the pleasure of an afternoon history lesson from the University of Liberia's preeminent historian, Bill Allen, joined by the University Professor Allison James and students of the University of Liberia's Honors College. They've been researching, studying, mapping, photographing, sharing, and getting to know this space intimately. Later this evening, we will hear more about the results of their work so far. At a minimum, we hope that this space can be designated as a national park, one that belongs to all Liberians. A green place in this urban and highly built-up city of Monrovia, where Liberians can enjoy nature, surrounded by water, a historical and sacred place where Liberians can learn about and remember the past, and tell others of their country's incredible story and legacy. I commend the leadership of His Excellency President Weah and the government of Liberia, with a special thanks to former Minister Nagbe, Minister Rennie, and Assistant Minister Turkon, and Chief Karwar, and the Traditional Council. for making the preservation of Providence Island a priority. We look forward to working closely with MICAT, the World Monument Fund, the University of Liberia, and the University of Virginia as we chart a course forward. This is just the beginning. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Ambassador. Ambassador McCarthy will be followed by the World Monument Fund representative, Stephen Battle.
Honourable Minister Rennie, other honourable ministers, Chief Kawo and the leaders of the National Traditional Council of Liberia, Cultural Ambassador Endi, Assistant Minister Turkalon, Your Excellency, Ambassador McCarthy, University collaborating scholar and historians Dr. Bill Allen, University of Liberia and honours students and faculty, MICAT staff, members of the communities surrounding Providence Island, colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. So I am honoured and excited to be here today. Over the past 6 months, I have had to experience Providence Island through the eyes and work of my colleague, Dr. Alison James from the University of Virginia. She first visited in November, and since then she has been assembling, together with students from University of Liberia and University of Virginia, a rich narrative about the history of this place, its intangible cultural heritage, its rich flora, and its place and function in the city. She has done a great job, and I hope at some point all of you will be able to see and experience some of the work her students, the students working with her, have produced, which is really of an excellent standard. But as good a job as you have done, Alison, it is not as good as the real thing. The maps and the stories and the photographs only made me more desperate to visit for myself. And now, here I am. And I have to say, being here, I feel this sense of opportunity. So I work for a group called World Monuments Fund, and we are the largest private, non-governmental organization working in the field of heritage preservation. So what we do is we do conservation preservation at historic monuments around the globe. The Taj Mahal, Angkor Wat, Great Zimbabwe, and many, many others. And I have to say, Providence Island is equally rich in heritage. Different stories meet here. Stories from long before the first settlers arrived on these shores. Stories about the settlers who came in 1822 and afterwards. And more modern stories about the city and the modern history of Liberia. All these stories are part of Liberia's identity, as the Honourable Minister mentioned in his speech. Conservation is about preserving places and objects, but fundamentally it's about helping to preserve and celebrate and perpetuate identity. And for this reason, World Monuments Fund is honoured and humbled to be involved in the planning project for Providence Island. What will come out of this current process are a set of proposals for conserving this beautiful landscape, improving it as a visitor destination for locals and tourists, and creating opportunities for cultural activities. This could become an important destination, an urban park, both for visitors to Liberia and for residents of Monrovia. With your blessing and consensus and trust, we hope to be able to return next year in 2022, the 200th anniversary of the establishment of the state of Liberia, to implement a project on Providence Island with the kind assistance of the US Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation and with our colleagues from MICAT. So finally, it remains to thank you for your warm welcome today, which was spectacular. This is really one of those high days in my personal working life where all the wonderful things about this continent come together, and it's really an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to be here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Stephen Bato. We will be followed by Councillor Dewey Gray, Deputy Minister for Legal Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Good afternoon. This is the Minister of Information and the officials of the Ministry of Information, Ambassador McCarthy, and staff of the United States Embassy, members of the Cabinet, Chief Zanzankawa, members of the Traditional Council, the Mayor of Monrovia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who could not make it this afternoon due to other pressing national engagements, Ambassador, he asked me to convey his regrets for not being here. But the program still has to go on, and he has asked me to convey his thanks and appreciation to the Ambassador's Fund and to the World Monuments Fund for this venture to revitalize and resuscitate one of our own cultural heritages. As I was coming to this program, I decided to look up Providence Island, and as a historical aspect, it was first named Dozua, meaning land in the center of the water. It then went on to another name, Perseverance Island, and then we come to Providence Island. Today, Providence Island is a place of reconciliation, forgiveness, and social cohesion in a country that's been through its own toll of civil disturbances and other uprising. So we believe that the preservation of this site would bring back and provide a historical aspect of where Liberia came from, where the first settlers settled, and how we can move on in terms of the general theme and objective of reconciling our nation and our people. So on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the government and people of Liberia, we want to say we're very, very grateful for this kind gesture on behalf of the United States government. And before I was reading, Liberia in 2017 submitted to UNESCO for the island to be considered one of the World Heritage Sites. I hope if it has not been already done, we can pursue that so that this island can be listed as one of the World Heritage Sites because it has so much significance for the slave trade in West Africa. And we hope that from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, whatever we can do to help the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism to make sure that we pursue that through our mission to UNESCO resident in Paris. So on behalf of the government and people of Liberia, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Gray. We move forward to the signing of the MOU, and will be done by Minister Frank Musa Dean, Minister of the Ministry of Justice, Minister Legend Rain, Minister of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, and Representative Stephen Baito from the War Monument Fund. Please.
Don't move it. So this is the summary of the memorandum of understanding between the government of Liberia and representative from the monument, the font, signing as the Minister of Justice, is the rest of them. Jersey. Deputy Minister for Affairs. Ambassador to the United States, Ambassador to Monrovia, Chief Zanfa Kawa, Mr. Ledger Rurin, Mr. Bean, and representative from the one Monrovia Service.
She would like to read the statement on the microphone before we sign. Is that okay?
So, to read statement is the Deputy Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Minister Greek. Mr. Bear will be ready. Statement to you.
Joint statement by the government of the Republic of Liberia and the government of the United States of America concerning a project for the preservation and reuse of Providence Island, Liberia. For this joint statement, the government of the Republic of Liberia, represented by the Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, MICA, and the government of the United States of America, represented by the Embassy of the United States in Monrovia, announced their support of a plan for the preservation and reuse of Providence Island, Liberia, with the financial support of the U.S. Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation and World Monuments Fund, Incorporated, and the active involvement of the University of Liberia. The U.S. Department of State of the Government of the United States of America sponsored a grant competition administered by the HFCP in 2020, and the WFMF was selected to receive a federal assistance award based on a project proposal entitled Providence Island, Liberia, Development of a Plan for Preservation and Reuse. The purpose of this proposal and the AFCP award is to create a plan to preserve Providence Island and develop it into an important educational asset and visitor destination in Monrovia. The U.S. Embassy issued the award to WMF with a performance period of October 2020 through December 2022. And pursuant to the award, WMF is to implement the project in collaboration with NECAP and University of Liberia. The U.S. Embassy stands ready to assist as well. To ensure the success of the project, WMF and the government of the Republic of Liberia have entered into a separate arrangement dated April 30, 2021 for purposes of agreeing and stating their mutual desire to develop and reinforce their cooperation in the field of conservation and to undertake planning for conservation and reuse of the cultural landscape of Providence Island, Monrovia, Liberia. The government of the Republic of Liberia and the government of the United States of America acknowledge the award and the memorandum of understanding concerning the project and express their common interests and goals pertaining to the preservation and reuse of Providence Island, Liberia, signed in Monrovia, Liberia on April 30, 2021 in duplicate for the government of the Republic of Liberia and for the government of the United States of America. Thank you.
and third ward to the ward monument on here at the Providence Estate in Monrovia.
All right, next we have special remark, and will be done by our Chief Zazan Powell.
Thank you. How many you? How many you? Zizi, the Wednesday. Tinaya. Are we together? Yeah. All right. I want the ambassador from Americas and my minister from information. All my teams and the big people, Ambassador Julie any point for the country for Liberia. The Cheche police then who standing on the side. My son can now, so I can put in my ballot. You can.
Thank God for today.
Marvin. Okay.
Thank God for today. Thank God for the government of the Republic of Liberia. Thank God for the United States of America. One thing that is left out, and since I'm still alive, I want to pinpoint so that they will understand. I will document the historicity of this place and leave it behind. The circular that came,
1821.
It came here 1821. That was the time they arrived here.
1821.
1821 was the date of arrival. I am saying it for you all to understand. Let Cheche Police understand that also. The king and they went back because of some circumstances, and then they returned 1822. And 1822, they celebrated the first program that what other people think is 1821.
So I
want you to understand that it was 1821 they came.
The
second coming out, they came with the first president of the Republic of Liberia and the mother. He was a little boy that came. Joseph Jenkins Roberts. He and the mother was on board the ship. If I didn't explain that to you, I will make it out of a book. The mother was a widow in America. But the husband didn't really love her. carried a message about a new land they had found, then she decided to come with them. When the people came, the settler brought 4 different things to us. The first thing they brought was government. When they brought the government, the next thing they brought was the payment of taxes. Church. What they brought again was a church. Behind the church, the next thing they brought was their society, the civil society. The fourth one they brought was education. I know everything. My fathers told me. We're writing in a book to leave for our children to read. If American people came today, we have to sign the paper. Thank you so much. God will bless you all. There is another understanding about the government. You said something about the government. That we will work together. I'm very happy about that. Everybody please stand up. I come to you. The government that in this country is for us. We own the government. It's a country.